Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Tracy and Renaé. Let's go. And let's go could not be more relevant. I'm sure it'll get even more relevant as the days clock by. So I'm going to start it off with kind of a cool story of how I believe that things are dropping in for us. Oh my gosh, every day, all day long to bring awareness, to expand our maybe understanding of things. So a lot is always going on in this head and in our conversations, Renaé and I's conversations, but I feel like it is amplifying, accelerating, expanding all the amazing, cool things, which we knew was coming. We've talked about it, everything's speeding up, which is super cool. Um, but I want to drop in an analogy right away of all these things have been coming in and I needed some chill time, which I took this week, kind of really let my body rest when it needed it. But I started watching this Netflix series called Blindspot. And oh my gosh, the relevance of it, of what is happening right now globally. I believe with every individual, the possibilities that are for our taking right now. So basically, to sum it up, um, the key phrase that I got from it is you are doing this to you. You did this to you. And I had kind of gotten this analogy prior, and I love that this series dropped in for me to kind of really open it up, unpack it even further. So I'm just going to give you a snippet. Go watch it if you feel called, but it's pretty cool. Basically, this girl gets her full body gets tattooed with all these complex tattoos, and she was given a drug to totally wipe out any memory. So she remembers nothing. Her body's covered in tattoos, and she gets dropped to the FBI. So the tattoos uncover all of these um, situations that uncover corruption and all these things going on. But one part of it, and I hope I'm not ruining the series, but I got to say it, is she's shown a video and it's her, and in the video she's like, you did this to you, you tattooed, you wiped your memory, and it struck so loud with me. And now everything, so many things that I'm walking through life of, no, you did this to you. Every situation that we want to be like, well, so and so did this, and because of this I had to feel this, and this is why, and this is, and it's just this resounding thing of, no, you did this to you. And to take it to the fact of, you do some really extreme things to and for yourself to broaden your awareness. So I'm going to throw it to you, Renaé, or I'm going to bring it in right now. This understanding of, to understand beyond a level that we are understanding now, we have to move out of our awareness that we're at. I feel like I said that. How did I say it the first time?
I don't know. We go so many places. I have no idea. But if you have to say another way, it will come. It will come through.
Yes, yes.
So don't worry. But I love that because, like you said, another way to say that is, look at you're creating everything, and that's been said a million times. Oh, you're manifesting, you're creating everything. But that sort of just makes so much sense if you just have that awareness of you are doing this to you. You are, creating every single thing in your life, regardless of if you think so or not. All the bad, all the good, it's all you. So to have that awareness and to come back to that is amazing. And I was just sort of looking at my notes. It was like, you're the key factor to everything. Everything is you. That's all I wrote down for the thing. So I don't know how you said it the first time, but I love that whole point. And I love circling back because you just tapped on it very quickly, very easily. Is I just, took time for me. Us paying attention to our bodies and how we have to really listen and see the fact that you wanted, you're always going, like, I always like, Tracy's always a million miles an hour, every day of the week. Like, it's just a crazy thing. So that when your body was actually calling out to take time for you and to rest. My guess is you weren't paying attention in the beginning, or not to the extent that it wanted you to. And then you finally were like, okay, look at, yeah, having the awareness that, well, what am I doing? Why do I have to continue to get up early and do this and do that? And I think as as I say, as humans, but yeah, as humans, as mankind, we have to start to pay attention to that. And what is your body calling out for? Is it asking you to rest? And then what's the belief system behind that? And it's the reframing. And we were talking off camera. You're really good at starting to recognize and to realize, and you're always good, Tracy, with the awarenesses, recognizing and bringing the awareness to, well, wait a minute. Why do I think of it this way? Why does it have to be? Why can't I rest? Why can't I sleep in? What's going on? And I don't know if you have a story for that one or not, or something, because I love your stories, because it just always brings everything back home. And I love that aspect of you really realizing, like, yeah, what do I have to do? Why can't I just rest? Or why can't I pay attention to my body? Because right now it's about us going inside. It's about going within every aspect of us and having that awareness, exactly what you said. Oh, wait a minute, I'm bringing this to me. But why am I angry about this? Well, wait a minute, this is me. This is my response. It really nothing to do with that person. You brought that person to you. So it's, okay, how are you reacting to this? Oh, wait a minute, like, check yourself and sort of let go, like disengage, disconnect from that the best you can, so that you can just bring this awareness around. And I think I just feel like I was just like rambling. I was just really sort of reiterating in a whole different word. We're saying the same thing, just a different way, for whatever resonates with you. But start to be more aware of, you're doing this to you. And what does your body want? Does your body want to rest? Does it want to take a day? Can you call in sick? Can you do whatever to listen to your system? Because if you don't, eventually it's going to it's going to slap you in the face and be like, oh my God, now I have to, because of, whatever. Do you have a story for that, Tracy, on the listening to the body?
Well, just that, I mean, I have
Or
many.
something?
I well, how it started was I knew I was traveling a lot, and I had a bunch of things, and I could feel, we'll talk in normal terms, my nervous system was kind of fried. So I just was feeling exhausted during the day. So it was kind of this thing of, I literally for almost a week slept till 10, 11 o'clock. And every time, now I did, magically my calendar totally allowed that, which was, I always like to, and I do believe the more you do this, the more it is so. I'll always say, oh my God, I'm so brilliant. I put nothing on my calendar that was early in the day to afford me. So I didn't have to be like, yeah, but I got to get up because I made this meeting. Um, so to allow myself and go through it in my head of, what are you doing? You're sleeping till 11 o'clock. Now, mind you, I was also watching this cool new series, Blindspot, but all of these things that we don't allow ourselves. And it started with 2 days of me being so exhausted and not feeling good. And then I was like, I could tell I wasn't sick. So asking my body, like really asking my body, what is it that you need? And it was just like, just rest. Can you just let it all go? Can, like, you literally for the next 4 days, and I was lucky enough to have my calendar allowance of, actually that's not true. I had a massage, which in theory, I love my massages. Everyone knows that. And in theory, I was like, oh, that'll be good for me. I'll get my massage. And I was like, you know what? I asked my daughter if she wanted it, and she's like, yeah, I'll totally take your massage. And I was like, oh my God, that's interesting. Because so this is the thing. We think we know what could potentially be best for us, and is it? And then to open it up, because I said, if Alex wants to take my massage, I'm going to take that as a thing as no, just totally like nothing, not even the thought of, oh, a good massage. And she took it and she loved it. And I was like, all right. So to really let it open up to that level of, and then ask the questions and see what the answers, like, why do we think that we should be up and productive by whatever time? Or why? And then, my, as like, can you just cocoon and all those great things? Can you just cocoon and just let it be. Oh, and also I will admit, I'm always, well, why? Tell me. I want to see the energetics. I want to know the metrics. Show me the mechanics. And I was told this. You're never going to go beyond the place that you're at if you want words, if you want the explanation. Can you just trust? And again, we've all heard this, oh my God, rah, 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 just trust, but let it open up because cool stuff really starts to happen. And I'll tell any stories. You tell me the good ones because I got some zany ones always.
We love zany stories, but because it always drives things home.
Yeah. So, but I think I guess we're at a new level of letting the trust be bigger than ever, letting the intel come in, break everything that you know. You are doing everything to you. And trust me, once you can really open up and own that, you will see it play out because my head will be like, oh, if they, no, 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 no. Take your responsibility. What are you going to do? Pivot, position yourself. It's all the words.
That's fascinating.
Frustrating as hell, but cool as can be.
Exactly. And I love that. You're never going to get where you want to be by having to know and question, get the answers, get the words. So that's huge because I think so often, and I know I'm very guilty of this. I will always be, asking whatever the powers that be or whatever, like, well, why? Well, what? Like there's always I'll say an argument because and they don't argue. They're just like, oh, you're such a funny human. So funny the way you think. But it's that point of recognizing, like, oh yeah, we're trying to figure out why. Like, if you're doing a meditation or you're doing whatever, a yoga, whatever, and well, why is my mind doing this, or why am I thinking this, or why aren't I doing this? We're so used to having that dialogue that we have to quiet down and be like, no, it doesn't matter why. Because, and if it's something that you're thinking is like a negative, like, oh my God, why would I do this? What? It doesn't matter why. You just did it. You're just having the experience right now. Can you now disengage from it? Can you now say, okay, I take responsibility for this, and this isn't what I want in my life? And regardless of why it happened or why it happened, why it brought it to me, I don't care. I'm now moving forward. That's not what I'm going to bring forward in my life. Start to let go of the whys because your system knows why. The human mind wants to bring it into a limited mindset so that it can set it up for next time you experience that feeling or whatever is happening, so that oh wait, remember when we had this feeling before? This is what happened, so now this is what has to play out. And now you're in an argument or you're in whatever because it's going by a program. Well, all the programs are releasing now. Start to go back within, and the more you're trusting and having that, okay, I'm just going to move forward and this is where I want to be. Really put your sights on what is it you want to be. What does your world want to be? But do you have a world of really like just enjoying and having fun and peace and whatever? And I can already hear people saying, okay, yeah, it was really nice to, yeah, you had these days to do this, but I have to get up and I've got to work every day. I've got to think, okay, so when you get home, can you rest for a minute? When you go to lunch, can you just take that 5 minute little whatever quiet time, or rest, just decompress yourself? On the weekends, do you have to be running? Do you have to be doing these things? Is somebody else there to bring the kids to whatever, baseball or ballerina or whatever all the stuff is? Can you delegate? Because I find a lot of people don't know how to delegate things because, well, I have to do it because I do it the best. It's really about the control in that aspect. So can you start to let those go? Be aware of what you're doing, what your days are like. Start to journal them down, write them all down. And okay, what can I change here to allow myself? If you're feeling exhausted, if you're, oh my God, I'm just so exhausted, I don't have time for me. Okay, congratulations. You're not great. It's you coming back to you. How can you make yourself have more time? Write things down, look at them. Because sometimes we do have time, but we're so used to being busy that, oh, I got to do this. Oh, I've got to wash the dishes, or I've got to. No, you don't. You don't have to do anything. Like stop, give yourself that time to rest, and to do, and just start to schedule time. Schedule it like a work time. Like, okay, hey, on this day, Saturday or Sunday, why gonna block this hour just for me. And really force yourself not to do something, or do something that makes you have fun or joy or peace or calm, whatever it is. Does that make sense? I just ramble on about a whole lot of nothing.
Oh, well, and also I've been playing in this, and this is a kind of a big complex one, but the and both, because I feel like we're both saying two different things, but they're very pertinent. Meaning, like I do ask why, but then you have to let the answer be liquid.
Yes.
Meaning, and I know that and this is where we're going. I can't really explain this because that potentially doesn't make any sense. What do you mean have the answer be liquid? Mean it be fluid. Like what you think your why is, can you let it expand beyond that? Can you let it flow into another way? I keep looking at things, and trust me, I'm doing this in my life all day long, every day. I'm like, getting a thing, and then I'm like, oh my God, why I did that for me? Why? But then to look at the why and let it, how I've been kind of seeing it is I see the why usually has so much resistance in it.
Mm-hmm.
And once you let it shift to coherence, and I'm doing this intentionally. Ooh, okay, I see that resistance. I'm gonna let it flow into coherence, and it softens. It does. And I know I'm speaking in a very, but just you don't have to understand it is the point. If you're listening, going, what the frick is she talking about? That's what I'm talking about. Let it go. Just let it be liquid, let it be fluid. You don't have to understand. Just be like, okay, I'm gonna do that. Um, because it's pretty complex at this point. It's pretty freaking cool. It's like you need the awareness and the intent. Oh, wait. Okay. I totally was not taking ownership of that. Now I'm going to take ownership of it. Why did I do that? And what do I need to do to get out of that loop and programming? And then I don't hear the answer. Yeah, that's it. Let it be
Yep.
liquid.
Yep. And feel it. Feel. What do you feel for that point? Because a lot of times when we are asking the why, it's our human element bringing forward that well, that's that limited aspect, that's going by something that we had already experienced, and it's just, oh, this is what happened before. So like I agree, it's that point of like when you're asking that why, let it go, because a lot of times you're not going to get the answer. If we're experiencing something that we don't like or whatever, it's like, oh my God, why would I do that? What the frick is happening? You're in this container that's not going to allow you to have the answer, because it's just going to keep regurgitating the same crap that you've always done, right? So when you allow yourself, okay, well, it doesn't matter why, I'm just going to move forward. Well, now you've just opened that up. Now you can let that flow come in, that fluidity and that whole aspect, and be like, okay, oh yeah, now I see why. Because the minute you get out of that pattern, that programming, if you allowed something to open, now you're able to feel, hear, see, communicate what your why was. And it's usually going to come forward if you're not ready to hear that answer, because it's so beyond your comprehension of what you've had. It's going to come exactly how we always see it, Tracy. It's, an experience. You're seeing it, somebody else is playing something else. You're hearing a, story about something. You're seeing a movie, a series, a blind spot that you're recognizing, oh my God, this is not just a show. This is showing us, this is what we've done to us. We've, allowed ourselves to just completely forget who and what we truthfully are. And now, and seeing all the corruption around, that's bringing your awareness to things. And the minute you see that, the minute, like if you go and watch Blindspot, the fact that Tracy said that, and we were talking about it, your system, whether you're recognizing it or not, is going to connect in on a different level to that TV show or whatever you're going to call it, the series. It's going to connect in. You are going to be more aware. The fact that you're watching this in general, you're being more aware. You're opening up. You're going a little deeper within, because it's a field that is being created. Everything's energy, right? So you're listening, you're feeling this. If you stop and you feel it, just close your eyes. Listen. You don't even listen to our words. Just feel the energy, or listen to the energy behind the words or whatever. Feel the space that we're holding for not only ourselves, but for everybody else. that's watching this and listening to it and doing that whole aspect. Which, do you have anything to say on all that?
Just that the fact that the tattoos all over her body, it's everywhere. Like the messages are everywhere, the signs are everywhere. It's just whether or not you're seeing them. So, and again, we could be on air for hours, but the amount of stories that I tell Renaé that drop in my life in 1 week is mind-boggling.
But they're always so awesome because we both can bring it to, oh my gosh, do you see why? Do you see what? Do you see how this is happening? How it's bringing this, bigger consciousness in to the whole world. They're always so awesome. And that's why I always love talking to Tracy, because it's not just like when she starts to, say some things, or even when I start, like the coherence together, what the energy does, it's just like, just blows into a whole nother level and a whole other stuff that is just amazing and crazy cool. And they really want us to bring in the whole AI place, because you said it perfectly, or the whole AI thing. Because we had mentioned AI, I don't remember when we had mentioned how it can free people up and stuff, but don't get caught up in replacing it for something. And I don't remember what you were saying, but they were saying she says it perfectly. So what do you have to say on the whole AI?
Well, and basically, the word discernment, all these words that we have been saying for a while now, but I think with AI, it is crucial to always use discernment because AI is pretty darn amazing and oppressive. I mean, just it's interesting how we as humans will like, phones, like, 30 years ago, if someone mentioned that, you'd be a nut job. Like, that's not possible. I always like to use my flying. When I start flying and then, all of a sudden it's a thing. Today, people are like, she's totally lost her mind. That's never going to happen until it happens. And that, right?
Right.
But so, oh, and that's a good plan. I'm like, why'd you go there? Because with AI, you can see most people have played around a bit. It's going to take all of these middlemen out of the picture that were designed just to make life more complicated. Honestly, all these, I won't go into how many presentations of it there are in their life. They were just built to make money and make life more confusing, if you look at it through a certain lens. So AI can wipe all that out, which will simplify things and just make things more expedient and efficient, which is awesome. But as we all know, maybe we don't know, AI is only regurgitating what's been fed into it. So it will never access anything beyond what already exists. So for any presentation of it, and a lot of people, and I will tell you, it's remarkable that, I actually haven't done it, but I've heard of people instead of going to an energy healer or getting a reading or doing a session, AI can do it. But there's the same discernment that you would use with every human you would use. It's same. We should have always been doing that with, a live person. So if you can wrap your head around using AI as a fantastic tool, but it's only a tool, always use discernment and always know that it's just information that you can always stretch beyond. The answer is just one answer. It's not it's not a finite answer because there's infinite ones. Um, did I explain that right? Like AI is remarkable and it's so expansive and it can do amazing things for us, as is everything in life. So just be aware that that is, as is the medical system, as the education system is all the things that crumble. AI is going to come in as the, oh my gosh, look at the great new technology. This is the thing. This is the savior. No, it's just another perspective of information.
And if you're paying attention to you, what feels right, what's really happening, you can utilize that as a piece. And you had set it off camera perfectly. Is it just replacing the addiction to whatever, to people, to programs, to whatever that we're all buying all these things? Are you just replacing that? And that's where you have to use that discernment, and don't let yourself forget who you are and utilize all of that. And that what they were bringing when you were talking was they said, yeah, just like you, Renaé, with your GPS. I was like, oh yeah, I am telling you, I have never had a sense of direction. Like you put me in a room and you spin me around fast. I'm like, wait, where am I? How do I get out of here? Like it is horrible. So I've always used a GPS. And those when they had the ones in the car opposed to the phone. And I'm telling you, I would go someplace a dozen times. I could go there 3 times in 1 week and still have no clue how to get there because I so relied on that I didn't have to know the streets. I didn't have to know the things. Like, oh, GPS will show me. But I lost the ability. Well, I never had it to begin with. Don't let me fool you. But I say I could have lost the ability of how to get places and how to recognize, this street or that street. Like I would recognize them like, well, there's a Burger King on the corner, or there's that. Well, there's a lot of Burger Kings in my area. So, okay, do I turn at this one? Do I turn that? What? I don't need to know. The GPS will bring me there. So don't let an AI replace your own knowing. If you get that answer, sit and feel what feels right to you. And because it's amazing. And I'll utilize it for different descriptions, different things I'll put in like, hey, is there a better way or a clearer way to say this? And do this. Or a lot of times like I'll say, I want to move beyond what I have known, what my thing is. So how do we reframe this? Or how can I go beyond everything that I've known to bring this into a new level? And it'll bring, I'm like, oh my God, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. But I don't do that. I'm like, okay, wait, let me sit with this. Let me feel what feels right for me. I don't just jump in like, okay, this is perfect. So always utilize that discernment to what do you want to know? What do you want to bring? What they're saying is, what do you want to bring forward? Because the world's changing in a very big way. And this is a weird segment or segue, but they're saying Mother and Father Earth is completely shifting and changing. And they're showing the core of the earth in this, like what do I always call that? What is that?
Teardrop.
The
I'm so
teardrop.
glad you're bringing this up. Yes, the teardrop.
Thank you. The teardrop. And it's pure and it's full. It's like so bright. And I'm hoping some of you can see or feel this because they've definitely got the energy there to it. But the old way of everybody was grounding into the earth, right? Oh, we got to ground. And a lot of people have recognized that when they're grounding into the earth, they don't feel right. Like something's not right, or they're not going in deep enough, or they're feeling stagnant, whatever it is. I've heard a ton of things, ton of different ways, or they'll say, I feel like I'm being bounced back. Like I go down and I'm bouncing up in. Well, for a long time, we really shouldn't have been grounding into the earth. That was a limited way of doing. When you say, and if anyone has worked with me, I usually will like, okay, we unground you for every place that you are, and we reground you where you need to be. And I've always seen everybody like going up and out. And some pieces go down, but it's always up. Okay, and the up, what they're saying is, I would get the visual of the up because it was really in. You're grounding into yourself and into all that is. And so the human element recognizes it as, oh, I'm going up. I'm doing that because that's where I think everything is up there. Well, it's us. It's all around us. So in that whole grounding, what we were doing was we were forcing ourselves to ground into Mother Earth. Well, when we're grounding into that, we're bringing all of our crap. So Mother Earth held on to that. Well, now she's saying, okay, look at people. You can't ground into me anymore. I need to meet you. So that teardrop energy, that beautiful white presence that's there, she's attempting to come up and to ground, not even ground. She's saying she's attempting to come up and asking us, will you allow me to bring you into that new level? Will you allow me to come up and bring the light that you truthfully were, and to reconnect our lights together so we can expand out into the world and beyond, because it goes far beyond our human world, okay, and beyond, to bring the awareness, the truth, and the light into us, into the human realm, which is far more, far bigger. And she's saying what will then start to happen is the awareness will just be there, the recognition of who you are will be there, and you will be able to have the joy and the fun, because a lot of us lost the ability to have fun, to have joy, and to just enjoy life. We're tied into, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, which she's pointing to you, Tracy. She's like, just like you yesterday, you're enjoying and you're shifting the energy field for the world, being in the water and having the fun and all that you were. And she's saying, and tell your story of that, if you recall it.
Uh, so, and this is, when we say this stuff, we're doing it. Like like any person that can give me a yeah, but, and I'm like, do you want to hear all my yeah, buts? I mean, I'm not focusing on the yeah, buts. So I, that probably didn't sound compassionate, but I'm compassionate to all the yeah, buts. But, first of all, I want to say what with Renaé just said, like, oh my gosh, this is so excited. Mother Earth's ready and we're ready. So that is such a celebration because we're there. We're at the point that this is possible, doable, like we're ready for it. So that's huge. And just like I really have been focusing for months now about stabilizing my field. Again, it's been a year now that like the grounding in, I had and both. Ground in, but also you need to be stabilizing. So it's kind of this cool thing. Anyway, that's just such a big yay. So yesterday, in terms of, oh my gosh, but I have to. Well, normally I jump on, Renaé's call every Sunday. And of course, I had it on my timer and I planned on to go down to Sebastian, one of my businesses. And it's interesting how stuff drops in for me. Well, we went down an hour late because it was raining. Oh, thank you. The elements, positioning, all this. So, and then anyway, all this fun and flow showed up in my day. And of course, my focus is my alarm goes off, you got to log on, it's time for the change makers. And what does my human logic brain is like, oh, I got to extrapolate myself out of all this fun and nature and going on because I got to jump on this call. And I was open to, what are you talking about? Like, why do you have to be on the call? Like, you can be on the call and still not be on the call, right? It's all these things. So I text Renaé and I'm like, I can't make it. My energy's there. Can't wait for the recording. And of course, Renaé always is, right there. I can always feel Renaé's text, which is so awesome. Like, so, anyway, so I'm out in the water, I'm out in the river. And here's the cool part, having all kinds of conversations, which were all significant, bringing up all of these projections of what's going on in life, and me sitting in the water, listening to it, trying to let it just dissolve. You know what I mean? And every once in a while, I shoot in a statement to make people think. But the cool thing is, floating out in the water, and I feel something. I think it's just a little like twig in the stand, and I pull it up, and it's a starfish. And I was like, oh my God, a starfish. So I put it back in. And it's kind of, there's the current. That starfish came to me 3 times. How that happens with us moving, no one else felt it. There was like 10 other people out in the water with me. And the second time I pulled it up and I'm like, hey, buddy, you obviously have a message. And it's got all its little tentacle feelers, on the bottom of a starfish. Put it back in. And then a third time. And that's the juice. That's the me normal or normical. There we go. There's no words. Normical me would have been like, no, my priority's Renaé. That's my obligation. I like to be here. I know she's going to say something good. I don't want to miss out, whatever that FOMO stuff is. And to be like, why would you think any of that? You're not going to miss out. You are there. What are you thinking? Like, why? What? Get your butt in the water, have a cocktail, communicate with the starfish and the dolphins. Like you just got to allow yourself. So there's a big, long story. And then, of course, I have the amazing gift to sit with Renaé the next day. And she tells me all the things that were really happening on a way out realm. And I'm like, oh my God, who knew? I thought I was just floating in the water with the starfish.
Right. Because from an energy point, not only was Tracy there doing all some really awesome, cool stuff and holding this space and connecting into all these different energetic fields, but there's so many people that are signed up for that, but that don't show up, but they're all there. Their energy is there. So the minute you have that intention, be, oh, okay, I'm going to be there, you're there. She didn't need to be. She was supposed to be. Her human form was supposed to be having this fun and the joy because she was grounding all of the elements and all sorts of things, and experiencing like all this crazy cool stuff for our group and beyond. And so many people's energy, they don't recognize that they're there, and everything that she was doing, the human form could not experience it. She had to be where she was so that her energy and her field was doing a whole other amazing shit. So that's the thing. Like, so when you're saying, "Oh my God, I totally missed this," or I was supposed to be there," why wasn't I there? Let it go. Don't say, why wasn't I there? Okay, look at, what, your body experienced something because your energy was there. And that's what they're trying to bring into this energetic field of people feeling. If you didn't go there after, wherever it was, and you're like, oh my God, I really wanted to be there, or I really wanted to sign up for this thing and I couldn't, or I didn't, or whatever. Okay, have your thought be that you're there. You're experiencing it because your energy field will be there. It will filter into your energy everything that needs to be. If the physical form needs something, trust me when I say it'll show up. Like, you'll know, you'll get that field, or you'll be talking to somebody and all of a sudden it'll come out of your mouth and you'll be like, how the heck did I know that? Because you're there. It's an energy thing. Let go of the human field thinking it physically had to be there. No, you're supposed to be having fun. You're supposed to, if that brings you fun, brings you joy, yeah, absolutely. Like, be there. But if you weren't there for some reason, don't drive yourself crazy and beat yourself up. Just start to move on with life and be like, okay, all right, I guess I guess the human form wasn't supposed to be there, but I know I got what I needed to get. And I know that that sounds simple and ridiculous, but really the more you start to do that, the more you'll be amazed at how your whole life starts to shift and to change. You go back into a flow, because this natural flow is what really is the key right now. And letting go of what the words mean, let go of what all of these little, oh, this offends me. This, they're saying, let go of that, let go of the meaning of it. It's just a word, it's just a human word that somebody brought up as either a negative or a positive. This should go into the feel, because the feel, you'll start to feel neutral, and in that neutrality is really more of a peace, a calm, and they're pointing to you, Tracy, like, can you describe what that, because you're in that field a lot. You do have that natural flow and that natural ability to just go with it. Can you explain or do a feeling of whatever of what that feels like to you?
Well, it's kind of, I don't really meditate anymore, which and who knows what is really meditation? Everyone does it different ways,
Yep.
but I should say mine switches, because what I do is I just kind of go and and this is just what works for me. I'm focusing on frequency, and or you can do it so many ways: frequency, tones, even the elements. And I pick words such as coherence or harmony, or even like nourishment. Lately I've loved nourishment, or vitality. And then I try and really go into the frequency and the energy of chosen word. And then I kind of just let it, go. And I love to float in the pool and do it, because, or, sit outside, amplify, float in the water, walk the beach, all the things. And it starts to, once you know it, it's more present and accessible. So I choose the words and I ramble through them. And sometimes I'll use five, like, okay, I want to bring in, depending, like I said, lately I love nourishment, has been really good. Vital, anything that you're, even if it's just calm. And that is a place of neutrality with a little nuance, because sometimes it's hard for people to go neutral. I like to go neutral first, like, okay, unhook from everything. And when I mean, like, not only the stories of your day, but like all your identities, all your programming. And even if it's just, you don't quite understand that, just intention. I'm going to unhook for everything. Okay, now I'm in a space of total neutrality. Okay, now I'm going to bring in harmony. Um, and again, I've, listened to a lot of people and I've put together my own thing, but really you have to create, well, I'm not going to tell, I believe that everyone should create their own because then it's their true formula of how they get to where they're wanting to be. But I will tell you, for me, that's how it works. I bring in, pick a word and don't use mine, use one that resonates with you. Maybe it is grounding. And it's interesting how the word grounding has changed significantly for me. Um, it's if you can keep it with the play and do it in times that you don't necessarily need it. Because now if I'm having a edgy day or I'm like, wow, I'm zinging, my nervous system shot, I'm angry, I'm whatever, it's easier to bring it in. It's easy because now I have relationships, oh my gosh, that whole, I'm writing relationships. We're in relationships with everything, and most relationships have been skewed. So that's another thing. I'm like, wait a minute, that relationship, let's just let it, I don't know. There's so much to play with here, but that's how I do it. Start with the neutrality, which just means unhooking with everything. And then I like to bring in a frequency, and I just let it like marinate my system. And it's freaking so cool and so amazing how all of a sudden like nourishment feels very different from vitality. Coherence feels different than harmony, but really it starts to be this like symphony of all of them.
I love that. I love that because you're right. It's that whole aspect of the minute you say you're thinking, the minute you say, look, I'm just disconnect from everything. Whether you feel it or not, it's happening. That was your intention. You've said it or you've thought it, and it starts to happen. If you're choosing not to feel it, that's a whole other thing. The more you do it, the more you feel you go right into that space where Tracy's talking about, and then bring in whatever. Okay, I'm going to bring in this frequency of, the minute you say or think that, it starts to come in. Allow yourself the quiet time or whatever it is, or just allow yourself to feel it. Just okay, I feel this now. If you say you don't feel it, you're going to continually not feel it. So, okay, okay, I now feel this. And the more you do, it's like everything. It's like, riding a bike. The more you're doing it, the more proficient you become in it. The more you're doing it, the more it's going to happen. We did yesterday during the change makers, and they were saying when you were talking about the Tracy, I recorded or whatever, channeled I can't even remember what the heck it was called. It was going into center meditation. So I'll put the link for everybody to download that in the description and then in the comments. That might be a beginning point for some of you if you're drawn to that. But really just start to practice. Even if you're sitting quietly, I remember when I first started to do meditation. And again, exactly what you said, Tracy. Meditation is so not what everybody says it is. You do not need to sit quietly unless that resonates with you, and that's the only way you think you can do it. But will change over time. You don't have to sit quietly with your spine straight or whatever. I meditate in the most weirdest things. If you're doing dishes and you sort of like zone out, guess what? You've just meditated. Like meditation is not whatever the whole explanation of a billion different ways to do it is. If you can just be quiet. When I started, I was taking a class on doing meditation, and at the end of the class he would go around and he would say to everybody, okay, what was your experience? Oh my Lord, everybody had these amazing beautiful experiences, and I met my spirit guide, and I met my angel, like all these crazy things. Then he'd get to me, I'm like, I've got my shopping list done, I know what I'm doing at work tomorrow. I got every single week. It was like a 12-week course. Every week, nothing changed. And I remember him saying, well, why did you take, I said, the mind is just always there, but it's bringing me clarity. Like, it was so perfect for me. And he was like, but you're wrong. That's not the way to do it. Well, I took them like, oh my God, I guess I can't meditate. And then he said, tell your thoughts to go underneath your butt, so you're sitting on them. And I remembered like thinking that to the thoughts, like, okay, I guess you're not supposed to be here, so you have to go. I'm going to sit on you. And I remember it was like, no. And I was like, can you go under my feet? Like, because he was teaching like, okay, you got to squash him, right? And then I remembered my sister had given me this really beautiful box for my birthday. I have no idea what was in that box, but I remember that box. The box, beautiful box. And I said, well, can you go into that really pretty box? Because the box came to mind, right? Not that I saw it, it just came to mind. And I was like, can you go into the box? They're like, sure, because it was something pretty. It knew I was accepting. I didn't realize that until way later. I was accepting those thoughts. I wasn't trying to push them away. So if you're trying to sit quietly for 2 seconds might be feel like, I know for me, it felt like I was there for like 2 hours. It's like from 2 or 3 seconds. But eventually the more you do it, the more quieter you become. And I could go into that quiet space, the kids running around, being crazy, doing whatever. So you'll eventually get to that point, but let go of what you think meditation is. It's not what you think it is. If you can be quiet for 2 seconds, guess what? You just meditated. If you zone out someplace, how many people are driving to work and say, how the hell did I get here? I just zoned out because it was so natural for you to go that route. All right, you're in meditation. So let go of the thought. I haven't done meditation in a while, but I used to do my meditations when I went to bed, because then my system, I could fall asleep. My system would continue to clear, do whatever the heck it was doing while I slept. So if you're like, well, I can't meditate, put it on when you go to bed. And you don't have to, by the way, you don't have to have it so that you're hearing it. It's a vibration, it's an energy. So if you have it on, because people I know will say, oh my God, I can't listen to things that disrupts me. Okay, put it on silence, play it somewhere, have it on complete mute. I know mine will, because I don't know if that for everybody's, because they're saying not everybody's is like that, but the intention and the energy that we're putting into it carries through. So put it on silence and let it just play, let it just go. You're getting it because it's an energy. I know we went off on that tangent, but that's what they were having me say. And you got anything for that?
I kind of noticed another thing, and this goes back to, I forget when we said it or if we even said it on air, the everything and nothing, that whole thing.
Mhm.
Another thing I play with a lot is I call the void, 0 point, all the words, pure presence. I've probably said this before. And once you can go there, which is non-attachment, which is no thoughts, technically, right? And these are just words. Like
Right.
you're always having thoughts on all kinds of levels. Like you're never really no thought in a sense, right? But just go to purity. And then that opens you up for the pure creation. And then you start stewarding your life. So kind of there's so many different ways and to say very similar concepts.
Yeah.
And I like to switch mine up to keep it fresh and to keep it like from.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I have to add. I mean, I could.
I love that. Well, but like you said, everybody out there in this, whatever, the spiritual field, whatever you want to call it, we're all saying the exact same thing, just different words. What words vibrate with you? But I always say, like, whatever you're hearing, whether it's from us, anybody else, whatever you're hearing, take it in and bring it to a new level. Bring it to the level that resonates with you. So, this resonates. Oh, this is nice. How can I bring this to the next level? How can I bring this to a level that is outside of everything that I've known? The minute you say or think that, you start to get information. And it doesn't matter when you pay attention to it or once things change, you're immediately getting that in your energetic field, in the field of existence. And things are starting to come in. You might not notice somebody saying something or a book that fell or whatever, a billion different things. But when you do, you do. Just don't judge, don't say, oh, if you didn't get an answer. Because what you've then done is, oh, no, push the energy away. I can't know this. Just keep yourself open and know that if you have that 1 second of stillness or quietness, whatever, honor that. Oh my God, like how awesome is that? My mind was quiet for a second, because the more you honor that and the more you're done fighting which brings me to, you with the whole war thing, remember? So it brings me that whole aspect of you're done fighting that, accept it, accept the thoughts. It's your mind's trying to keep you safe, trying to, hey, don't forget this, don't forget this. Okay, thank you. I'll address you later. Go on your own little vacation. Don't you crave vacation for it. Go on your own vacation. And, because I used to try and be like, once it was done with the box, we're not done, but then I started to be like, oh, I go on vacation, because the teacher always had a billion different thoughts for me. None of his really worked for me. And, he'd be like, well, why don't you just, send him on a roller coaster? Okay, that'll make me sick. So I'd be like, why don't you go on vacation? Why don't you go and like watch that beautiful waterfall? Because that's something I would like, right? And I was like, no. Right. But when I finally was like, okay, just accept you, I don't even know where it went. I didn't know. I was like, okay, I'll address you later. And later on, they'd come back if I needed them, but a ton of times it didn't. But let go of all those little things. Stop having the war on things. Right.
Think that for our next that one, well, who knows what we'll talk about next week.
Everything changes so drastically.
That's a next level. Once you get to that place of kind of neutrality and clarity and openness, you will start to see things. I all of a sudden noticed, and I used the word war. I'm like, wow, me, humans have really declared war. And I like the big bold words of contrast on so many things.
Yeah.
And, gosh, why did we do that? Okay, well, I don't want to do that anymore. And then you really do like resistance, fear, all the words they'll come in. Yeah, but you should. Everyone says this is how we do it. This is,
Mm-hmm.
all the things. And again, I love the word. You got to let them be fluid. I can't really, maybe more on that later, but it starts to get cool. I mean, you could say, well, gosh, now it's even more challenging. Not really. It's kind of getting really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love where we're going and all the changes that are happening. And you just have to be aware of them. So even if you think, well, I don't not aware of anything, no, tell yourself we're always aware of the changes, and you'll start to see them differently. So that's all I got today. How about you? Anything else?
I think that's good. I could dive into this new subject, but I think we got to let the rest with the other percolate for a little bit.
Exactly. All right, awesome. Well, thank you everybody for being here. And if you like what you're hearing, hit the like button, subscribe, share this with a friend, whatever rocks your boat. And what do you always say? Choose wisely.
Wisely.